What if the strongest sorcerer of the modern era was never truly meant to win? What if the king of curses was never truly meant to lose? The clash between Gojo Satoru and Ryomen Sukuna isn't just a battle of power. It's a collision of philosophies, eras, and the very rules that define strength in Jujutsu Kaisen. And the answer to who is actually stronger might be far more uncomfortable than fans want to admit. For years, Jujutsu Kaisen has revolved around one central promise. If Gojo Satoru is alive, everything will be okay. He is the ceiling, the absolute, the man who redefined what it means to be the strongest. But Sukuna exists as something older, darker, and more patient. Not a shield for humanity, but a calamity that humanity once failed to stop. Today, we're finally asking the question the series has been circling since Chapter 1. Between Sukuna and Gojo, who is truly stronger, and why does the answer change depending on how you define strength? Before we go any further, this discussion includes manga spoilers. If you are anime only, this is your warning. At a surface level, the debate seems simple. Gojo Satoru is the strongest sorcerer alive. He possesses the 6 eyes, Limitless, and an understanding of cursed energy so refined that even special grades look primitive by comparison. Sukuna, on the other hand, is the king of curses, a sorcerer turned curse from the golden age of Jujutsu, feared so deeply that even death could not erase him. Their eventual clash feels inevitable because it represents the ultimate test of power in the Jujutsu Kaisen world. But Gege Akutami never writes simple power contests. This fight is a thesis on what power actually means. Let's start with Gojo Satoru. Gojo's strength is not just raw output, it is control, precision, efficiency taken to its absolute extreme. The 6 eyes allow him to perceive cursed energy at an atomic level, meaning he wastes almost nothing. His Limitless technique creates an infinite series between him and his opponent, making physical attacks effectively meaningless. Infinity is not a shield, it is a law. On top of that, Gojo's mastery of domain expansion, unlimited void, overwhelms the opponent with infinite information, paralyzing even special grades instantly. In pure technical terms, Gojo is broken. He bends the system until it screams. But Gojo's greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. He exists within the system. He understands it perfectly, but he still plays by its rules. Infinity relies on cursed energy calculations. Unlimited void requires domain mechanics. Even Hollow Purple, his most devastating attack, is still a technique that can be understood, adapted to, and countered under the right conditions. Gojo is the strongest expression of modern Jujutsu, but modern Jujutsu is built on structure and logic. Sukuna is something else entirely. Sukuna's power does not come from refinement. It comes from dominance, from overwhelming reality until it submits. Unlike Gojo, Sukuna does not rely on a single defining technique. He adapts, steals, and evolves. His understanding of Jujutsu is not academic, it is predatory. He dissects techniques mid-battle and repurposes them without hesitation. Where Gojo perfects, Sukuna experiments. Where Gojo protects, Sukuna destroys. One of the most overlooked aspects of Sukuna's strength is his mentality. Sukuna fights without fear, without restraint, and without moral hesitation. He does not seek fairness or prideful victory. He seeks certainty. This is why he can weaponize Megumi's 10 Shadows technique in ways even the Zenin clan never imagined. Mahoraga, a Shikigami designed to adapt to any phenomenon, becomes the ultimate countermeasure. Not because Sukuna created it, but because Sukuna understands how to exploit it. When Sukuna fights Gojo, the battle becomes a war between absolutes. Infinity versus adaptation. Perfection versus evolution. Gojo initially dominates because his techniques are superior within the known framework of Jujutsu. But Sukuna does not aim to win immediately. He aims to learn. Every exchange gives Sukuna data. Every domain clash pushes Mahoraga closer to full adaptation. Sukuna is willing to take damage, to lose ground, to suffer, if it means rewriting the battlefield later. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth. Gojo fights to end the battle. Sukuna fights to change the rules of the battle itself. When Sukuna finally bypasses infinity, it is not through brute force. It is through understanding. By letting Mahoraga adapt not just to Limitless, but to Gojo's very application of it, Sukuna achieves something terrifying. He proves that no technique is invincible. Even infinity can be solved. And once that happens, Gojo's greatest advantage disappears. This doesn't mean Gojo was weak. Far from it. Gojo pushes Sukuna further than anyone else ever has. He forces Sukuna to reveal layers of power, strategy, and preparation that had been hidden for centuries. In many ways, Gojo is the only person who could have forced Sukuna to evolve this far. But evolution is exactly where Sukuna thrives. Symbolically, this fight represents the conflict between eras. Gojo is the peak of a world trying to control curses, regulate power, and create stability. Sukuna is the memory of a time when strength was absolute, unchecked, and merciless. Gojo believes strength exists to protect others. Sukuna believes strength exists to assert dominance. Neither belief is wrong within the story's logic, but only one aligns with the cruel reality of Jujutsu. So who is actually stronger? If strength means raw power, technique mastery, and battlefield dominance in a controlled environment, Gojo Satoru stands at the top. No modern sorcerer surpasses him. If strength means adaptability, survival, and the ability to transcend limits through sheer will and understanding, then Sukuna reigns supreme. Gojo is stronger within the rules. Sukuna is stronger because he can break them. Looking ahead, the implications are devastating. Gojo's defeat doesn't just remove a powerful character, it removes the safety net of the story. Without Gojo, the world must confront Sukuna without a miracle solution. This forces Yuji, Megumi's legacy, and the next generation to redefine what strength means. Not as an inherited title, but as something earned through sacrifice, loss, and growth. There is also a chilling theory worth considering. Sukuna may not even be at his peak yet. His original form, his full understanding of cursed techniques, and his long-term plans remain partially hidden. If Gojo represented the end of an era, Sukuna may represent the beginning of something far worse. A world where curses are no longer exceptions, but rulers. In the end, Sukuna versus Gojo was never about who hits harder. It was about who adapts, who endures, and who understands the true nature of Jujutsu. Gojo was the strongest sorcerer. Sukuna is the strongest curse. And in a world built on curses, that difference might be everything. So the real question isn't who was stronger. It's this. In a system as cruel as Jujutsu, was strength ever meant to protect, or was it always meant to dominate?